Welcome to Unpolished Gem, where I'm going to be sharing with you my go-to recipes. They're simple and delicious. Welcome back to Unpolished Gem. Today I'm going to be showcasing one of my legendary leftover recipes. Now, leftovers sometimes get a bad rap, and they certainly don't need to. Legendary leftovers is all about sharing the recipes with you that showcase those leftovers that are in your fridge. We've all been there. You cook something, you leave it in the fridge, and you just don't know what to do with it, and it might end up in the bin. You can always turn your leftovers into something delicious, and I'm going to be sharing today what you can make with your leftover roast chicken. So this roast chicken was from my never fail roast chicken recipe, and I've got about 1 to 2 cups of roast chicken left over. But this is going to be turned into a beautiful leftover roast chicken risotto. This recipe takes 20 minutes from start to finish. It's very easy to make and it's really tasty. So I love this recipe. I'm really excited to share it with you. Let's get started.
So I've made a list of the ingredients that you're going to need for this recipe, and you can simply screenshot this to make it easier when you're shopping. This is also your method in case you need it as reference later. So my 2 recipe tips are to make sure you stir this recipe regularly to avoid it sticking on the bottom, and we're just going to cook this on a low heat whenever we've got the lid on. We're going to put our pan on medium heat to start with, and we're going to add our olive oil, followed by our red onions and our garlic, and we're simply going to cook them on a gentle medium heat until the onions are translucent for about 5 minutes. Now you'll see here I'm using jarred garlic. This is a great recipe hack to have a jar of this always in your fridge for when you need to easily add it to recipes like this. I'm going to add my risotto pasta, followed by my tablespoon of butter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt that butter. Now I haven't touched the heat at all. It's still on a nice medium heat. And what we're going to do is we're just going to melt that butter and really coat that risotto in the melted butter. It is so beautiful for flavour, and this really enhances the dish. Now we're going to go ahead and add our tinned tomatoes, followed by our chicken stock. We're just building that flavour right now. We're going to give that a nice stir just to combine all those fresh flavours together. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cooked chicken. This is from my never fail roast chicken recipe. And just remember, you could use fresh chicken if you didn't have any leftovers, and I'd recommend using thigh. Now I'm just going to season this with salt and pepper. I'm going to give this a nice stir. And then I'm simply going to put the lid on, and I'm going to put this down onto a low heat. And then I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes, and I'm going to give it a regular stir about every 3 minutes. So now I've come back after 10 minutes. You can see it's bubbling away. Those flavours are really starting to combine together. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir this, and I'm really focusing on making sure the risotto is not stuck to the bottom of the pan. This is the exact technique I use to make sure there is no risoni stuck to the bottom. It just gently removes it. This is coming together beautifully. So now I'm going to add my spinach. And then the best bit of all, I'm going to add my half a cup of parmesan. Now what the parmesan does is it really adds salt and flavour to this dish and also a beautiful creaminess. You'll see once I give this a stir how instantly shiny and creamy this dish becomes once you've added that parmesan. There we go, perfect. So now I'm going to add my fresh lemon juice. I'm going to add half a lemon, and what this does is it adds acidity and freshness, so it really balances out that salty parmesan. When you taste this dish, you'll realise how balanced it is. It's really, really beautiful and fresh and tangy and flavourful. So we're going to stir that together, making sure all these flavours are combined and making sure that risoni doesn't stick to the bottom. And remembering this is still on low heat. It's really looking so vibrant and fresh already. So now I'm going to put that lid back on, leave it for 5 minutes, and then this dish is done. So 5 minutes have passed and the chicken risoni dish is now complete. You do not need to do anything else to this dish. It's so glossy, shiny, it's going to be really flavourful. It's a simple dish to put together, and that is ready to be served now. You'll see that spinach has wilted right down. It's going to be creamy from that parmesan. It's a simple dish. The tomatoes add an element of freshness and sweetness, and it's a really easy dish. It's simple, it's delicious. I love recipes like this because they're not overly complex. We're using up those leftovers that are in the fridge, and yet it's just delicious. Serve it with grated parmesan and a squeeze of fresh lemon. You would never know that this is a cheap leftover meal. You would think this took an hour to make from scratch because it is so delicious.
Yum, that is a delicious recipe, and it is such a great way to use up those leftovers that you have in the fridge. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I'll see you next time on Unpolished Gem.